Skillbite here, and this video is on the PetSafe basic in-ground fence. I do apologize for the mess. It does come with the transmitter, surge protector, the collar, basic collar, flags, 500 feet of maybe 18 gauge. It's pretty thin. They have a chart, a wire chart on the box. I'll show you right here. So you're good with the roll that comes with it up to a third of an acre. At a half, it's 500 feet. So at a half acre, you're going to want to go more. I ended up getting 3. I have a couple acres. I ended up getting 3 rolls, but I have a lot left. And I didn't go completely around the 2 acres. Now, told you I would show you these. They are not that difficult, but they are kind of tricky. You've got to pull that out like so, and you've got this like silicone stuff in there. This is your wire connector. What you would do, and this is not a tutorial on how to do this, so you would strip the ends, put that on there. Okay, that now is connected. You can test like that. What they say to do is then tie a knot about 3 to 4 inches, like so, and try to get it 3 to 4 inches. Pretend that this is on here. You would then stick that in here, and they have you closing it, and in the picture it shows the knot being outside. I didn't do that. I actually have mine just a little bit shorter. I put it in, and I put the knot inside here, and then I have it, I don't want to put this in there, I don't want to ruin my thing. I put that, and then I close it. So I have the knots inside it. That's how I did it. I thought it worked better. On one, you'll see in the video, I actually knotted, I did another knot on top of it. That probably overkill. But that's how you do it. I don't know that there is whether you should have them like so or like so. If you do it like this, this may eventually come out. Do it like this, you're more likely to get water in it. So I just have mine hanging. If it's in the dirt, I just set it in there like that. And that's how we do it. But you will have some breaks. Most likely, as they say in the manual, they'll be in places like, for instance, on mine at the bottom of that garage door, where I have them going around from inside the garage to outside, somewhere like that, or where I did have the break because the lightning was on the fence. Thankfully, my wife actually found it as she was walking down the fence looking, because this was the first time it happened, and I was like, oh no, don't, there was nothing out in the garage. And I was like, don't tell me it's broke in the ground, because yeah, we'd never find that. There is a tool apparently, but I don't have it. So this is a quick drawing of my property and the layout. The garage, attached garage, is right here, and the transmitter, surge protector against the outside wall, twists to here, comes around the flower bed, across the sidewalk, around the front, hugs the side of the house, goes to the back corner, kind of goes around like so, staying inside line of trees, over to a fence where it runs along the fence. Compost is here, so it goes around the compost. then back to the fence, alongside of a detached garage, driveway, across the sidewalk to the other side of the attached garage door opening, goes over, and then connects to that other side. It's a continuous loop, and the way mine is laid out, dog can be in the front, in the house, or in the back with the collar on and not be affected. If he can go into the garage to a certain point, at which case he'll start beeping, and then he'll get the static. And if he tries to go out the door, with the exception of like a 6-inch spot in the middle, he'll get the beeping and zapping. And general rules, he's not allowed into the garage with the collar on. And that is the only way he is allowed out. If we're going to take him somewhere, he goes out into that garage and then into that car or around here for a walk. So he never crosses. In our case, we don't cross that line with or without the collar ever. That's just how we did part of his training. So this is what I ended up coming up with, and yes, it is a bit of a mess. It does work. I still need to clean up the wires, but it does work. And you can see the wire kind of goes out to so. I have mine at 5, and that gives me about 3 feet from the wire to the beeping zone. Mine is on a surge suppressor power strip, and then it goes down into, yes, a GCFI outlet, which is not good, and they say in the directions that you should avoid that because it can trip the outlet, and that will of course shut off everything that is on that circuit, including the fence. And that has happened a couple times during thunderstorms. A few of the restrictions, and this is what makes this designed piece difficult. And it's not that difficult, it's just you may not be able to put it exactly where you wanted it. They recommend using an outlet that's at least 30 feet from the breaker box. Well, 30 feet, if your breaker box is in your garage and you want to put this in your garage, that's kind of a challenge. Temperature wise, it's got to be indoors. This is not waterproof. And temperature wise, you can't get it below 10 degrees Fahrenheit or 104 degrees, above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to be the surge protector and the transmitter. This is your surge protector. This is your transmitter. They need to be at least 3 feet from large metal objects. Garage door, water heater, makes it a little, kind of restricts you a little bit. So bear that in mind. And the transmitter needs to be within 5 feet of the surge protector because, well, that's the length of the plug. So you may have noticed looking at the surge power strip with the surge suppressor, it's kind of dark right there. Let me show you what happened. So pardon the mess, but this was the original surge suppressor. This is why it has a surge suppressor. We had an actual lightning strike. It split the wire and it blew out this surge suppressor. It triggered the GCFI as well, but on that one I'm not surprised. And the only other time that the GCFI was triggered was when lightning struck fairly close, but it wasn't a immediate strike like the one that did this. The surge protector, let me give you model number LP 4100-1. They're like $20. If you have thunderstorms, you may want to get one. You can bypass it. Just be aware, if you have a thunderstorm and you bypass it, you've lost that protection. So where the wire is twisted, that is where it cancels each other out. Just like on that radius, it cancels each other out. The signals cancel. So none of this is going to create the signal to the collar. And it runs from your transmitter. Sorry for the mess. Comes in and up to the black. It's labeled transmitter. Why that's not red and the top red, I don't know. And then the loop. Transmitter, loop. This is the part, and that's really tight right there. It still works, but it's more than it needed to be. Oh, and by the way, to twist this, cut it longer than you need it, and then use a drill. Have someone use a vise for the other end, or have someone that has a good grip to hold it and use a drill to spin it. That's how I twisted mine. And I got the insulation coming off there. And this part goes up. Sorry, I need to clean this up. You can follow the yellow twisted wire up to, this is where it will split because it's a continuous loop. It has to be a continuous loop. That's part of the challenge. This comes down. Follow it down. Yes, I still need to clean it up. And it comes through the little flower bed there. Goes across. One of the things you might run into, there's a sidewalk. What are we going to do? Well, that wire is actually in there. It's just covered, and I'll show you what we cover it with. And this is what I use to fill in the sidewalk, concrete and mortar repair. This is just the one I used. And this, I had it crossed sidewalk twice, and it used, it's up to there, so it used over half of this just going across two sidewalks. If you're going across a driveway, this may take the whole thing just going across a single wide driveway. So the other end of the loop goes above my garage door and then comes out down there, and again I need to clean it up, and then it follows, oh, another spot where I had to cross the sidewalk, and it follows out through the little flower bed up against the back. You come all the way over here. You can just see it right there. It's buried under there. Comes up onto the fence, and then it runs along the fence, and you can see this one I had to add later because after a lightning strike fried it. Yeah, that was a fun one. It struck that close to the house. And I will show you how these work. You will definitely need one or two It comes along the fence. Now here we have some compost. We don't want the dog in the compost. So I ran it around, and it comes down, and it is, see where the white flag is, where it comes out. And you can see the flags there. Then as we continue, it just goes down the fence line. If you're going to put it against a fence like this, be aware if you have rabbits, squirrels, things like that that are going to come through like I do, you want it high enough where they won't interfere with it. I don't know if it was a rabbit or if it was a squirrel, but I actually had an animal eat through the line, and it comes out here and goes down into the ground. And as you can tell by the flag, it's about 3 feet. And then I just have it running. Hopefully you can see yes, it wasn't very precise on the placement of the flags, but I have it running inside the trees so that the dog doesn't go up to the neighbor's fence and bark at them. Looking back down the line, comes up to a curve. You've got to have a minimum of 3 feet radius. And then it goes along again along the inside of the fence line. Keep the dog from getting too close to the road and barking at people walking down the road. But he has all that, which he very much enjoys. Mine comes up here. It actually comes in under that rock, goes here, goes right here, then underneath the little drain, goes right through here and over, then turns and through here. You can see the pad that the air conditioner is on. It's on the outside of the right side of that. Comes through those two, and I keep it 3 feet out away from the house. So it runs right along here, staying 3 feet. I then have to do, because let me back up so you can tell, we're at a corner. Have to maintain the 3 foot radius, so I do have it coming through here. It does get within about 1.5 feet of the corner of the house. So if the dog was in the house, now this is a raised section, so I'm not even sure the dog, there's a skeet. And he's hiding from us. And it comes through, so because it's raised, I'm not sure even if the dog was in the corner that it would beep at him. But be aware, if it's run next to the house, it is possible that it could affect the dog in the house. So it runs right through here, and I came through here, and you will see we have flags again. Back up to where we started, showing that sidewalk on the front. One thing to be sure to do is to test your layout before you bury it. Test the layout, make sure, so that's that corner of the house. I had to do the 3 foot radius. I tried to make it less when I originally was going to run it. It was less than that and it didn't work. So 3 foot radius is the minimum to keep the signal from canceling itself on the inside of the turn. 3 foot radius is like so. So it's from the center. Hopefully your tape measure won't come in on you. but that's the radius. It's actually, as you can see, it's you can still do a fairly tight curve, but it needs to be a curve or it'll cancel in the middle. And be sure to check with the collar that you don't have it too tight. So there's several ways to bury the wire. You can pay someone else to do it. You can rent a trench digger, or you can use a shovel. Spade shovel. Right there. Pull it up. Use a one of those paint sticks, and you push it in. And what I did is I would go about 20 feet, 10, 20 feet, then I'd come back and I'd push the wire in, and then all you got to do is step on it. It is some work if the ground is damp. You know, it's been raining the last few days, then you're probably good. If the ground is dry, good luck. So that's what the basic collar looks like. There is a more powerful collar you can get if needed for your dog, but mine does not need it. It comes with the shorter poles and longer ones. So if you have a long-haired dog like a German Shepherd or maybe a Sheltie, something like that with thick hair, a golden, you might need the thicker ones, the longer ones, so it'll go through that hair. This little key actually will fit, I think it's a small one, so if you want to remove them, you can use this. Also, this is used to adjust the setting. So you break it loose, unscrew it. That right there, if you push it in, so mine is set at 4. If I push it in once, and there's a light, all right, so it did 4 times. All I did, I pushed it in the once and let off. That tells me where it's at. That's it. I push 1, 2, 3, 4. If I push it in again, it would bump it to 5. Push it again, it'd go back to 1. That's kind of how you adjust it. You will see this flash if the battery goes weak. This key also works to remove the battery. Yes, it's not, the battery is a generic battery, but it's a proprietary setup, and so you have to purchase the batteries. RFA 67. But this is waterproof, so that's why they want you to change it out. I don't know how long this will last because, well, this is the original battery and it's still going. It's been a good 2 months, but mine doesn't actually go in there a lot. To test, if you walk around the fence and you push this here, obviously you can hear it beep, but to tell if it's doing more than beeping, if you got the static as they call it, there's a test light. So you hold this like so, and then you walk up to the wire and that light will come on. I will tell you that the light is brighter based upon the setting. So if it's on 5, you'll see the light, no problem. If it's on 1, that light was really hard to see. Collar was quite large. And what you do is you set it, get it the right setting for your dog, the right sizing for your dog. And this thing was hanging way down here. I mean, it was much larger than I needed for this dog. So I cut it And I used a lighter and lit. I need to melt it a little more right here, but that'll keep it from fraying. And this is how what they provide you. First 2 weeks are the most important, and it generally worked all right. Introduce your pet to new boundaries. Day 2, you do the begin training, and there's more to it. This is where it beeps. You have it on level 1, it beeps only. Begin training with static correction. We started with 1. So I did 1 on myself, and I could just barely tell that it was doing anything. I switched to 2, and that one I felt up my arm. I didn't try 3 or higher. Then from day 2 to day 5, you're introduced distractions to test your pet. Squirrels. Yeah, squirrels are the big one for us. I will tell you that we did put him at 3. He went right through it. Of course, he's a dog. He has thicker skin than I do. He went right through it like it was nothing. 4, on setting 4, and he is a border jack, so he's a rescue, but he's mostly border collie Jack Russell mix. So he has high energy and has that Jack Russell terrier. So he, like I said, he likes those squirrels. We ended up going to 4. 4 was doing fine except for things like squirrels. We had bumped it up to 5. He tried to cross it. There was we had some friends over, and they were in the driveway. He went across out here, and we tried to go into the driveway, and that got him. He immediately turned around and ran back. So we know that the 5 gets him good. The 4, we dialed it back to 4 because he seemed to learn that was bad. And he's been pretty good on 4. Now, and then you monitor your pet for new freedom. And we watched him. Like I said, this is day 15. We watched him, and he's been good. He actually doesn't get that close to the flags. He'll stay back from the flags. He'll get within maybe 10 feet or so. He doesn't even go for the beeping. He doesn't even get that close. So it's been really good. He really enjoys being out there, and he can definitely get a lot more exercise. Well, I hope it was helpful. Hope it'll help you with yours. And if you found it helpful, please like, subscribe, comment. Good luck with yours. So if you follow the twisted pair, the yellow twisted